Hey everybody, it's Mike at Ren's Pet Depot. I'm going to show you how to assemble by yourself, if you're one person, a Q Modular Cage assembly. With two it'll go quicker, but let's just assume that maybe you're on your own. I'm going to show you how to put it together yourself. I've got my trusty assistant Chris handling the camera for me today. This is all done on an iPhone, by the way, great piece of equipment. I want to show you first what you're going to get when you open up the box, okay? The box over here, we've already emptied it out. There's some styrofoam packaging, some shrink wrap. You take it, you throw it away. And Chris, just pan from over here. Here are the components that you should have, okay? Front door assembly, 2 waste pans, 2 floor grates. This is what the dog stands on. Side panels, back panel, top and bottom, and a divider so that you keep the dog separate in each side of the cage assembly. Also, you're going to get a package. You're going to have this, which is the divider that goes into the bottom of the crate assembly, the cage assembly. We'll show you that in the end. And you're going to get shrink wrap together a series of flanges. Now, we've already pre-assembled these, okay? So these flanges at the bottom are designed to hold in the floor grate. You'll see how that works at the end. There's a divider as well that's going to be, it's going to be shrunk wrapped together with these flanges. And in some cases, they're all shrunk wrapped together with this. So you're going to get 2 smaller flanges that go on the back piece here, this middle track that the divider door slides in, and then for each of the 2 side panels, you're going to have flanges as well. Now, I've pre-assembled them, and I've done that for a reason. If you're a single person doing it yourself, you're going to want to do this, because once the cage gets put together, you're either going to have to call your neighbor over to help you. You're just not going to be able to do it yourself. So pre-assemble these flanges. Put them on first. And how you do that, Chris, if you could bring the camera over here, is with a pair of pliers and with a drill with a, we've got the proper bit on it, which is a star-shaped bit for you non-techies like me. Okay, it's a star-shaped bit. We have a nut and bolt assembly. You can see the nut over here and the bolt on this side. And all you do is you put the bolt through, the nut on the back side, you hold the nut with the pliers, and you tighten with the drill. Now, the good thing about doing this first, about assembling the flanges first, is you'll know which side is up and which side is down. It's not so apparent. I mean, it's apparent, but you have to be looking a little harder if you're 2 people putting it together and assembling the flanges later. That's because the holes for the flanges are in the bottom. You're going to want to keep an eye on that. Okay, you're going to want to make sure if it's 2 of you assembling it, you're going to save this till later. Make sure the holes are in the bottom of the crate assembly as you're putting it together. Another thing to watch out for. The smooth side is always on the inside, okay? Because you'll notice on the outside we've got this lip. We want to make sure that the dogs are well protected and that everything's smooth on the inside. How do I know the front versus the back? The front has 2 large holes in it. One at the top, one down at the bottom. Okay, and the back has a series of smaller holes. Those are used to put the back panel on, and we'll show you the screw that you're going to use to do that with in a minute. Now, let's go over to the top and the bottom piece. These here again, you're going to want to look for the front versus the back. The front has on each side 4 of the large holes, okay, and these again are to assemble the crate front door 2. And you're going to want to make sure again that the flat side is on the inside and that the lip is on the outside so that the dog is well protected and there are no sharp edges, because the metal edges are a little sharp here. And on the back we have the smaller holes all the way down, again to assemble or to attach the back piece to it. So that is the top and the bottom piece. We have the divider here. And anything else before we start that you should know? Yeah, Chris, come on over here. I'll just show them what comes in the bag. I've already taken the implements out of the bag, but we have several of these screws. They're driver screws, okay? So they have a pointy end, and what they're going to do is they're going to literally puncture the metal. I mean, there's already a hole drilled out, but it's not large enough to accept the screw yet, so it's going to puncture the metal and drive into the metal. So it'll be firmly in place once you put the assembly together. And Chris, come on over here. Again, we have this closed nut and bolt assembly. This is going to be used, these two are going to be used to attach the front door. One goes into the other, and they screw together. Both receive a flathead screwdriver. Okay, so when we actually do this, we're going to hold one end with a flathead screwdriver, and I'm going to use the drill with a flathead on the other side, and we're going to zip it into place. Again, you can do this all yourself. Okay, so let's begin. Again, I'm assuming that you have taken the time to assemble the flanges at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first piece on. I'm going to attach the, let's see. So what I'm looking for here is I'm making sure I've got the large holes facing out. So that piece, I'll have to do this. I'll have to turn it around. And then I'm going to find a shelf or a piece of furniture that's 2.5, 3 feet high, something like that. And I'm going to stand it up like this. This is how you do it if you're doing it by yourself. If you're doing it with a friend, obviously you'd have a friend help you out. And I'm going to take a bunch of these driver screws. I'm going to put them in my mouth. Telling Chris before, my great Aunt Evelyn was a nurse. She would freak out. She's probably rolling over in her grave watching me do this. Germs, all that stuff. Anyways, usually these are magnetic. This one isn't, so you have to be a little more careful. You put it on the end. I'm going to match up the holes. And there. We got our first one in. Again, just going to double check. Yeah, we have the VIG holes. This is the front of the assembly, so we're good. Oh, you see? I'm making a mistake. I caught it. See what I did wrong here? I'm putting the flat side out. So, remove this off to the side. Grab this one. Okay. So, again, we want the smooth sides on the inside so that the dog is well protected. See, even the so-called experts can make mistakes. Okay, try that again. Take number 2. Okay. You'll be amazed at how quickly this thing goes together once you start. Okay, there's one. I'm going to take the other side again. There's only one way for it to go on to fit right. You'll see I've got the large holes on the outside or the front here. Turn it around, make sure that the flat side is on the inside. Large holes are facing out. We're good to go. Okay, still only one person, so I'm going to just prop this up like this, slide it out a little bit. There we go, got one hole lined up. Good. Second hole. By the way, folks, the list of equipment that we just went through, if you don't have all of that, please call us, okay? The number, if you don't have it handy, is 1-866-736-7738. You call me directly, Mike at extension 239. We'll make sure you get all the right equipment. So if you're missing any of these screws, any nut bolt assemblies, give us a call. That. Now I'm just going to put it down like this. The other piece on. Again, the flanges should be at the bottom, and all the holes on this side should all be the same holes. In this case, it's a small holes, large holes on the other side. Just double check, triple check. Make sure you've got all the right pieces of equipment. See how quickly this thing's going together? Believe it or not, once the back panel's on, folks, we're almost there. And that's good news, because normally you don't buy these in single units. If you're a groomer, you're probably going to have at least 4 of these, maybe more. Okay, back piece is going on. Remember, we've pre-assembled the back channel and the flanges. They're going at the bottom. Make sure you put them at the bottom, otherwise you have to unscrew it and do it again. So they're going to be at the same side as the side flanges. There, just going to pop that on there. It's pretty square. That's good. All right, get a mouthful of screws. Lorianne Evelyn. with you, this is easier than assembling home exercise equipment. Have you ever done that? You ever bought any of that 1866 get fit stuff? Doesn't always go together that easily. This, on the other hand, this is pretty straightforward. It's well engineered too. The holes always line up, which I like. That's good.
It's mine.
Hey. By the way, just so you know, folks, this is our Aberfoyle retail store, so you may see people coming in and going out. We all work together as a team here. They were nice enough to let me use this facility. We're located in the head office next door. Right. We're almost there. Home stretch. Last few of them. Here's the cool thing, folks. Unlike IKEA furniture, there's no screws left over at the end. Use them a perfect count. Love it. Great thing. No offense to IKEA. I love IKEA furniture. But every now and then, you know, you get the screws left over and you go, did I miss something? Well, in this case, I didn't miss any. So here's the cool thing. We now have a nice sturdy box. Okay, so Chris is panning through the inside here. You see everything as it should be. The flanges are down at the bottom. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put in cage bottoms that the dogs stand on. Sometimes they don't necessarily slide underneath. In this case, it slides in nice. If you have any issues with it sliding in, what I'm going to tell you to do, and this probably is not the best example, you should get a longer handled screwdriver with a flat head on it, and you just kind of come here and you'll pry up the flange and then push the grate in underneath. Okay, and we're going to put the second one in. We're going to do the same thing. Slide it underneath the flange in the side here. See if it fits under. Yeah, this one fit in really nice and smooth. Right into the back, but just for fun, pull it out a bit, pry the back flange up, and push it in. There we go. Nice. So that's not going anywhere. Okay, now, this is 2 cages, not 1, so you're going to have to keep the dogs separate. That's what this divider is for. I'm going to push this divider in right to the back, line it up with the channel there. Now, Chris, if you could show them the hole here in the front, and there's a hole in the back, you might be under the impression that that should be screwed in place. The hole actually doesn't go all the way through. There's no need to screw this in place. It sits there really firmly as is. And you'll see after we put the front cage assembly on how it all works. Waste trays go in next. Okay, slide in, slide out real easy for cleaning. And then we're going to put the front on. just to make a point, there is an upside down and a right side up here. Upside down would render you unable to take the waste tray out. Right side up means you can slide it out because there's a space down here. Okay? And if you turn it upside down the minute you opened it, the door would drop off because the top hinge sits on the bottom hinge. So the door part of the hinge sits on the hinge that's attached to the frame of the front assembly. So, I'm going to line these up. This up with the big holes in the front. I'm going to grab the nut and cap bolt assembly here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finger tighten. Most of these will finger tighten. You might even be able to get away with not even tightening them, but I wouldn't. I'm kind of thorough in what I do, so I would say just give it one final tighten. There we go. You can see basically when we're done this, we're done the cage assembly. One person, about a half an hour. Two people, you can have this thing done in 15, 20 minutes. Which means that if you have a bank of 4 to put together, it can be done in an hour and a half. And that's pretty good when you're putting a grooming shop together. I was out helping a groomer a couple weeks ago who was putting these together while she was putting her grooming shop together. And if you've done it before, you know there's a lot involved. She had all the trades in there, the electricians, the carpenters doing all their stuff. And the fact that you can put this thing together quickly is good because you need as much spare time on your hands to be able to get everything else done that you need getting done. Like this poor lady, her internet connection wouldn't work and she was opening up in 2 days' time. Okay, we're almost there, folks. Almost there. Go. Really is a sturdy piece of equipment. Q is Ren's own brand. We're very proud of it. It's well engineered, well manufactured. As soon as I get this thing together, I'll show you how to use it. I'll give you a couple of tips for safe, effective operation of it. Just got 2 more of these to go. So I'll just demonstrate it with one, and then Chris and I, when we're done, when we're off camera, we'll go in and we'll tighten these things show you what I mean by making sure they're really tight. I put a flat head on the drill. I've got a flathead screwdriver here. I'm going to lock that in place. And I'm just going to give it one little tighten there. Okay? And I'm going to go around in all those and I'm going to do that. Chris and I will do that afterwards. Let me just do this one here before I stand it up. Good. All right, one last thing. One last piece has to go in it, and then I'll show you how to operate it. All right. Nice sturdy piece of equipment. It's not going anywhere. The divider, you want to keep the dogs separate. There's a handle on the front here. All you're going to do is slide this little lever up, put it in, slide it along, open up one of the doors, make sure that it slides into the back channel. Chris, you can put a video in there. So you see the back channel here? There. It's flush in the channel, and we're good to go. So now the dogs can't get at each other. Okay? So, operation of the cage assembly. Dog's in there, it's already nervous. You obviously don't want to slam the door shut and scare the dog. But you do have to close it fairly forcefully because, come on over here, Chris. Let me show you. The mechanism locks like this. It comes up, the pins slide in, and then it drops down, and it's when it drops down that it hooks in place. So there's a hook holding it and keeping it from opening, okay? So you either have to slam it or close it softly, hold over here, and give it a final push. Just to make sure what you want to see, bring it down here, Chris, you want to see that the pins are sitting adequately over here, over top of these, or the hook is sitting adequately over top of these pins, okay? Because you don't want the thing opening up. So to open it, press up, close it, and just to be sure, hold here and push it. That one's good. That's in place. They're in place. They're not going to open. Okay? Nice solid cage assembly. There it is. Again, you run into any problems, you have any questions, call 1-866-736-7738, extension 239, and ask for me, Mike. I'll make sure you get the right parts. What you should have is 12 of these nut and closed bolt assemblies, okay? A whole pile of these little driver screws. Okay? You're going to have a little baggie full of them. They usually give you a few extra. Now for the flanges, the nut and bolt assemblies, you're going to need exactly 16, okay? So you should have 16 of those, 16 bolts, 16 nuts, 18, because you're also going to have the back channel that's enclosed with a nut and bolt assembly. So 18 of those, 12 of these. Remember, you need two pieces for these. You need the front piece and the back piece, the closed and the open, and a whole bunch of these little screws. And that's it. Okay? 1-866-736-7738, extension 239 if you have any questions. Thanks. Have a great day.